All right, let's call Aiden Poe. Mr. Poe is now at our lectern. Let's see what we have here. We have a deferred judgment for a 9-month term that's on the table for Mr. Poe.
Yes,
Be to all pending charges. Have you decided to accept the offer?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you have any questions for me before I accept your plea?
No, Your Honor.
So you've been in the courtroom for a few minutes at least, observing a little bit about what's happening with other defendants?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so when you plead guilty to these charges, you are giving up your right to trial on all of those charges and all of the other rights that I described to the group. Are you doing that voluntarily?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is anybody forcing you to plead guilty?
No, Your Honor.
Are you under the influence of any medications or drugs or alcohol?
No, Your Honor.
Do you understand these charges? The first charge is possession of alcohol by someone under the age of 21. Do you understand that charge?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you agree that there's evidence to support that charge?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand the charge of unlawful conduct on public property?
Yes, Your Honor.
And do you agree that there's evidence to support that charge?
Yes, Your Honor.
And then do you understand the charge of having a fraudulent identification?
Yes, Your Honor.
And do you agree that there's evidence to support that charge?
Yes, Your Honor.
You're doing all this without the benefit of a lawyer. The other folks had the chance to kind of consult with Mr. Sharman. You're doing this without a lawyer standing next to you. Are you comfortable doing that without a lawyer?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand a lawyer might give you advice or represent you better than you can represent yourself?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you're a CU student?
Yes, Your
So
Honor.
you understand the rights that you're giving up? I am going to find that it's a free and voluntary decision to plead guilty and without the benefit of counsel. So let me go over the charges and accept the guilty pleas. One is a charge of having a fraudulent identification, which is a violation of section 5612 of the Boulder Revised Code, occurring August 21st of 2025 at 3180 Airport Road. How do you plead to that charge?
Guilty.
I'll accept the guilty plea. Count two is a charge of being a minor in possession of alcohol in violation of section 574 of the Boulder Revised Code, also allegedly occurring at 3180 Airport Road on August 21st of 2025. How do you plead to that charge?
Guilty, Your
I'll
Honor.
accept the guilty plea. And then the third charge is unlawful conduct on public property in violation of section 5520 of the Boulder Revised Code from that same date, time, and location. How do you plead to that charge?
Guilty.
I'll accept the guilty plea. I will point out to our prosecutor that sometimes our officers write 3180 Airport Road, which is the ARC. That's not likely where the original offense of open container or minor possession of alcohol might have occurred. It's probably better practice to maybe to write two separate summonses if the offense has occurred at different locations. I know they like to group it on one summons, but it's technically, it could be defective in that circumstance. I don't want to overcomplicate this case, but I want to just point that out for you. It might be worth a discussion with Mr. Reynolds and see what you all might share with the police department as to how to approach that. But I've seen that in the past where they get to the ARC, that's where they're ultimately issuing the summons, and then they write that as the location of all of the violations, which generally isn't accurate, supported by the reports. It could be, I haven't read the report, but it's unlikely in this case that that's how it took place. But in any event, you're getting the deferred judgment. That'll get you the benefit of the dismissal of these charges. And I have accepted the pleas. So I'll go back to the offer to make sure that I've got all of the conditions in place. You'll have the C Restorative Justice program to complete. The community living class, 10 hours of community service. And then you also have a substance use screen to complete and finish that up. So you have 4 actual obligations to earn the dismissal of your case. So one more than some people might have. It may have to do with the fact that there was a fake ID and some other behaviors that weren't exactly the same as some of the other cases. But I want to make sure you understand 4 separate things will be coming back to the court. Proof of completion of community service, proof of the alcohol program, proof of CURJ, and proof of the community living class. So 4 separate documents will be coming back to our court to earn the dismissal ultimately. So if you get kind of moving along in the process and you aren't sure if you got everything, make sure you communicate with Fernanda in the back so that you are on track with all of that. But you get to earn a dismissal, be placed on the deferred judgment for the 9 months to all 3 counts. You'll have $165 in fees and costs to pay our court. And then when you do your community service on campus, they're going to charge you a $25 fee for that. They will also charge you some fees associated with the other programs that you're completing. What I like to stress to people is I hope to see you just once. I say this to you, but I'm really saying it for others who might be listening, is that you get an opportunity to have a dismissal of your case, in this case with 3 separate charges. which are misdemeanor charges. They could go on your criminal record. We do not want a young person coming to see you, graduating, getting a diploma, but also leaving here with a criminal record. So our prosecutors kind of work hard to give you an opportunity to have your case not end up with a criminal conviction on it. But I want to assure you that if you don't do what you're supposed to do, you could end up with a conviction. And if you get other charges, you could end up with a conviction for this and for the other case. So it's really important that you be thoughtful about what you're doing out there in the public arena, because you're now in a place where you don't have the same record coming in. The prosecutor knows that you've got this case, so you don't want to get another one. That makes sense to you?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Why don't you have a seat in the back of the courtroom? We're going to send people back in groups of 3. So if you'll just have a seat, as soon as we have two others to join in, we'll send you back. You're welcome. Go ahead, Mr. Altenberg.
Yes, Your Honor. I'd like to call Mr. Alexander Tucker, please, who's appearing in person.
All right, Mr. Tucker, if you'll come forward.
Understanding, Your Honor, that Mr. Tucker, after a further conversation about the Restorative Justice program, Mr. Tucker intends to accept the DGS and file, requiring him to take the Restorative Justice program, the senior community living class, and the probation screening and assignment of appropriate course, Your Honor. Okay,
thank you for all that. Your case number 2025-4396. I'll pull up the offer. We've got that up on the screen. You have, looks like 3 charges that are pending. There's a charge of possession or consumption of alcohol by someone under the age of 21, having a fraudulent identification, and then possession of alcohol in public. So all 3 of those charges you'd be expected to plead guilty to. The case would stay open for 9 months. At the end of the 9-month term, we would be running your criminal history to make sure there weren't any other new charges. We're going to give you a deadline that's much sooner than that to complete the Restorative Justice program, the community living class, and the substance use class that our probation department determines for you. If you do those by the deadline and you go through the 9 months without any other charges, then at the end of that period, we're going to withdraw those 3 guilty pleas, dismiss your case, and seal your record. So that's the option that's been made available to you. Is that what you'd like to accept?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you have any questions before we go forward?
No, Your Honor.
When you plead guilty to these charges, you are giving up your right to trial and all of those other rights that I described to the group. Are you doing that voluntarily?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is anybody forcing you to plead guilty?
No, Your Honor.
Are you under the influence of any medications or drugs or alcohol?
No, Your Honor.
Do you understand these charges? We'll start with possession of alcohol by someone under the age of 21.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you agree that there's evidence to support that charge?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand the charge of having a fraudulent identification?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you agree that there's evidence to support that charge?
Yes, Your Honor.
And do you understand the charge of possession of alcohol in public?
Yes, Your Honor.
And do you agree that there's evidence to support that charge?
Yes, Your Honor.
You are doing all of this without the benefit of a lawyer to assist you. A lawyer might be able to do a better job of advocating for you or representing you in court. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you comfortable going forward without a lawyer?
Yes, Your Honor.
And do you understand that if you proceed, you run the risk that you won't present as good an argument as that someone else might present?
Yes, Your Honor.
You're a CU student, so I'm going to find that it's a free and voluntary decision that you do understand the rights that you're giving up here today. Let me go ahead and accept the guilty pleas. We'll start with count 1, which in this case is a charge of having a fraudulent identification, which is a violation of section 5612 of the Boulder Revised Code occurring August 20th of 2025 at 10th and Pleasant. How do you plead to that charge?
Guilty.
I'll accept that guilty plea. Count 2 is a charge of possessing alcohol in public in violation of section 572 of the Boulder Revised Code. How do you plead to that charge?
Guilty.
And count 3 is a charge of possession and consumption of alcohol by someone under the age of 21 from that same date, time, and location. How do you plead to that charge?
Guilty.
All right, I've accepted the 3 guilty pleas. We'll place you on the deferred judgment for the 9-month term to all 3 of those charges. So all 3 will be subject to dismissal. Go back to the offer here and scroll down here and take a look. So you've got the Restorative Justice program to complete. You've got the community living class to complete. And then I'll have you meet with probation to determine the substance abuse class that you'll need to complete as well. It leaves you with $155 in fees and costs to pay the court, and then you'll have some fees when you sign up for those programs. I'm going to send you back to have a conversation with Ms. Bittencourt here or with Dara. They'll be your contact people going forward. And I share things kind of intermittently throughout these dockets. A lot of times the young people who have fake IDs get them in packets. When you order them, you end up getting 2 or 3 or 4 sent to you. I would encourage you to get rid of those, because if you get another charge of having a fake ID, you might end up with a much more serious outcome. Fraudulent identification is looked at much differently than possession of alcohol or minor possession of alcohol. It's looked at somebody using an identification to misrepresent who they are. And in this world of digital access, you can bet that an employer who is going to give you digital access to their database is going to run a criminal history for you. And if you end up with a conviction on your record for having a fake ID, you're not likely to get that job or that security clearance that you might need going forward. So it's really important that you not run that risk of ending up with a conviction on your record for something that could really harm your entire future. So I share that with you. A lot of people are in that same situation. I want to make sure they understand the gravity of that decision. It's not the same as what it was when I was 19 years old. It's viewed much differently. So just want you to be aware of that. Okay, so if you'll just have a seat as soon as we're done calling the next case, and we'll send you back as a group.
Thank you, Your Honor.
That hearing had a little bit of everything. Judge Jeff Cahn presided over a docket of underage possession and fake ID cases. And while the charges were familiar, his careful explanations and candid warnings gave the session a mix of formality, pragmatism, and mentorship. Case involved Aiden Poe, a CU student who accepted a 9-month deferred judgment covering 3 charges: possession of alcohol by a minor, unlawful conduct on public property, and fraudulent identification. Without counsel, Poe confirmed he understood the rights he was giving up and pled guilty to all 3 counts. Judge Cahn was patient but clear, walking him through the process step by step and stressing that completing the CU Restorative Justice program, the community living class, a substance use screening, and 10 hours of community service would earn him a dismissal. He even noted that officers sometimes list the wrong location on summonses, gently reminding the prosecutor to follow up with police about better practices. Poe, respectful and cooperative, agreed without hesitation. Next was Alexander Tucker, also a CU student, facing possession of alcohol, fraudulent ID, and public possession. Like Poe, he waived counsel and pled guilty, accepting the same 9-month deferred judgment. Judge Cahn reminded him that 3 separate documents would need to come back to court: proof of CU Restorative Justice, proof of the community living class, and proof of a substance use class, as well as payment of $155 in fees. His tone was instructional but candid, warning Tucker that fake IDs carry long-term risks. In this world of digital access, you can bet an employer will run a criminal history. If you end up with a conviction for fake ID, you're not likely to get that job or clearance. The message was clear. This was a second chance, but not one to be wasted. Throughout the hearing, Judge Cahn balanced efficiency with a touch of plain talk. He didn't scold, but he emphasized the stakes, drawing a distinction between minor possession and fraudulent identification as a much more serious offense in today's digital world. The atmosphere was respectful, a bit sobering, but also constructive. Young defendants acknowledging their mistakes, and a judge making sure they left understanding both the opportunity and the consequences. If you found this hearing insightful, consider subscribing, hitting the bell, and letting me know your thoughts in the comments below. I read every one,